Hi everyone, very good morning or whatever the time zone you are in, right? So we are going to very good morning everyone. So have a nice day for everyone. So today we are going to start the new concept of called globalization, and you're going to understand what is mean by the globalization, the concept of globalization, and as well as the advantages and disadvantages, right? So the globalization concept, it is actually really important concept in the world because now because of the development of the transportation, development of the communication, and everything. Because of this concept, the globalization concept was came. So we can see simply it's like the integration of the world economies we call globalization. If there is no trade barriers, if there is no boundaries or any limitations, we can actually this entire world become like a global village. As a result of that, we can trade together, we can work together, we can share our resources together, and we can share the capital to everything. So land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So you can see there is no limit for us, right? So therefore, the globalization concept, understanding of the globalization concept is really important because always the globalization concept is have a very important recognition, and always in examinations also this globalization concept was widely testing on the. Therefore, this globalization concept is really important to understand the concept of globalization and the imports of globalization, everything we are going to uh, explain today. So you can see the globalization is actually it's a growing force. The integration of the world economy is called the globalization. Okay, so let's see what has we actually what it mean by globalization. So in our textbook, you can see the globalization concept and everything. Today, my lesson objective is to understand the concept of globalization and understand the threats and opportunities of the globalization in the business organization. So, mainly the concept of globalization and the understand the threats and opportunities of globalization for business perspective. So, you can see in recent decades, it started thing that economies all over the world have become more open to everyone, not closing. You can see except few countries still close their economies like North Korea. You can see better than that. So apart from that, all other countries you can see in the world nowadays open economic policies they have. As a result of this thing, you can see the integration of the world economies actually become a huge importance are created as a result of this. Basically, for example, since the breakup of the Soviet Union and also the growth of the China, and also they can see the different economic policies, and also the political reforms and everything helping to boost up the globalization here. So large number of countries such as Estonia, Poland, Ukraine, Latvia, and many others have started to trade with other nations. This had led to more trade, more cooperation, more communication between countries, and more movement of resources such as labor, capital, and also everything. So we can only share the main the it's like there is no boundary. This is a situation, this is a concept, no boundaries, right? So today we are talking about this concept, the globalization concept. We're going to understand the features of the globalization, why globalization create the concept of globalization. Right. So before we go to the globalization, there are some certain concepts, right? You might understand that emerging economies, emerging nations. For example, there are certain classifications are there. We call like when there's rapid economic growth coming up, we call those countries emerging economies. There are rapidly examples. I guess the growing economy, the GDP level increasing, the tendency very high. As a result of that, you can see these countries are called emerging economies, emerging nations, have huge growth potential, but also pose significant risks. For example, there's a country called BRICS nation. You might know BRICS, BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, BRICS, like a BRICS nation. And sometimes there's another categories of country called MINT countries, MINT, right? Mexico, right? Indonesia, Nigeria, and Turkey, like that. So there are some certain countries are there, industrialized countries, and like emerging nations are there. These emerging nations are producing much larger output right now. You see the BRICS nations. You can see the Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. You can see that like China almost like the world, like a you can see like a USA and China, huge like global leaders in the economy, right? Few large but in these countries, you can see like Toyota, General Motors, GM, and Ford, Volkswagen, Hyundai, Nissan dominate the global car industry. Not all this, right? So not all this, everyone. You can see the each of these firms produce over 6 million cars in 2050. Three of them, Toyota, Volkswagen, and GM, produce over 9 million cars out of 16 million. 9 million came from those only three companies. You can see that. Basically, everyone right now, Sri Lanka also, you can see we are using the vehicles from coming from Japan, vehicles coming from USA, vehicles coming from UK, vehicles coming from Italy. Like that, we are using. That's why globalization concept is really important to understand, to understanding of the business perspective, to how it important for us, how it actually important for all of us actually to find out the benefits of the globalization, because so much of countries nowadays actually taking the benefits of globalization, because the more output can be produced, they can share this output, so cheaper resources we can share, the import export we can share become very developed, because of the import, the transport system was well developed, the communication links are well developed. We have, because of this actually the globalization concept for triggering now. You can see the globalization, as a result of that, these emerging economies, sales in China, for examples, were around 25 million in 2050. They're giving only just a particular, only one industry, but you can see globalization is there all around the world, right? So, globalization concept, we can see, we can find out. I can see this the bar chart, the car production, different car producers in the world during 2015, right? 5 years ago, the Toyota out of this number one, and then the Volkswagen, and then Hyundai, General, and Ford, and then Renault and Nissan. You can see these are the main car producers in the world. That time you can see in their market share wise, and their production wise. You can see the different car dealers in the world, and then you can see car sales. This is the China and USA. The sales wise, you can see the this pink color shows this graph, this Chinese car sales, and then this is the American car sales, USA. This below that you can see the blue color lines during 2012, 14, and 16. Right. So global market is like that. There is no boundaries. There is no limit. There is no parameters. Everything open to everyone. So truly, globalization means kind of like a pure democracy. The whatever thing you can choose any job you want. You can do that thing anywhere you want. You can go and work in any country you want, right? You can transfer any amount of money to any country, any bank account. This is the pure and the 100% democracy, 100% globalization mean. But because of practical problems, because of some kind of political problems, this globalization has some kind of limitations, because countries are not open their borders to the economy, to everyone, because of some problem with the migration, the immigration. The problems are there. For example, we can see in the recently, like Brexit decision. The Brexit was a really good. I actually personally, actually, I think actually Brexit should not happen, because it's actually thinking about only just for England. Actually, that's a, because as a European Union, it was the biggest economic union at that time. But what happened actually, as a result of the Brexit, now what happened, they separate from the European Union, because they found out that a lot of other countries, other Europeans, then came, and the illegal migration level, and then as a result of that, immigrants, they came from different countries, and unemployment level and other economic issues was increasing in the UK. As a result, they took a decision to actually increase the situation actually was getting worse day by day in the UK, and then as a result of that, they actually the Theresa May actually take action to uh, take action to actually leave from the European Union from December 2020. From this month, 31st December onward, they're 100% actually out of the European Union. Right. So you can see the concept of globalization. The globalization concept we call the simplest, the most my one of my favorite definition is this globalization definition: growing integration of the world economies. Right? If you go to the other dictionaries, Cambridge, Oxford, Merriam-Webster, you can see different definitions, different things. But the summary of all that definitions are this. This is that in perfect definition you can easily memorize. Growing integration of world economies, growing, increasing integration, linkage of whole world economies. Economies in the sense you can see countries. So the integration process of countries economy. So economies in the sense the country, the consumption, economic mean everything as a holistic concept. So you can see globalization is a growing integration of the world economies. So many of today's markets are global. This means that some firms expected to sell their products anywhere in the world. Today, the firm could have the head office in London and money. They borrow money from bank in Japan and manufacture products in China or Sri Lanka. They deal with customers from call centers in India. And you can see this is the situation globalization. Actually, this happened. This concept is practically right now happening, right? Some multinational companies are really getting the benefit of this, like companies like I see HSBC, Unilever, Coca-Cola. You can see this situation is there. They are the real gainers of the globalization concept, right? So who promotes the globalization? There are some regulators are there. Main regulator is WTO, World Trade Organization, where their head office is in Geneva, Switzerland. They are the one. Currently, there are about 160 countries that they are signed up with them to actually promote the trade. They are acting as like a negotiator and kind of taking like an ombudsman, right? Taking their if there are issues and everything regarding the some globalization. If some countries are not allowing them to trade, this WTO, the organization, go and actually helping them. And this one country doing some kind of like let's say some anti-competitive actions. This WTO has the power to actually regulate those things, right? So as a result of that, you can see this regulatory also system is there enacted by the World Trade Organization is there to actually smooth the process of globalization. So mainly, what are the main features of globalization? It is an important matter. Now we know the definitions, the growing integration of the world economies, but there are some features of globalization as well. So features of globalization, you can see goods and services are traded freely across international borders, right? Free trade, that's another important advantage. The goods and services are traded freely across international borders. There are no government laws to prevent the firms from selling overseas. That's why the free trade. That's another important concept. The free trade is the availability of the free trade. That means like a no international cross borders. Everyone they open the economy. So if you want Sri Lankans, if you want to have kind of let's say the watch from Swiss and then cheese from Denmark, apple from Australia, cars from Japan, cars from Italy, anything we can consume if we have the potential, if we have the purchasing power, we can order everything. But some governments are there sometimes to protect the economy, they have to put some kind of a restriction and trade barriers in order to protect the infant industries, local industries from the multinational companies. However, the goods and services are traded freely across international borders. There is no government law prevent a firm from selling goods. That's another kind of a democracy. You can see like Coca-Cola selling all around the world, right? Not only USA, everywhere in the world they are selling. That's a good example of multinational company how they reach the globalization concept. Second one, which is little bit like no not practical, is called people are free to live and work in any country they choose, right? But the problem is when you apply for a visa, it's difficult sometimes to obtain to go for different countries. Imagine like go to USA, or Australia, or UK, or New Zealand, or whatever country when you're applying. So they have some their own immigration rules you have to apply because when you apply for those countries, sometimes for jobs and everything, opportunity, there are some restrictions are there because to control the number of immigrants who are coming to those countries to live and work. That means this is recalled simply one word we can say the mobility of labor. The mobility of labor that you can sometimes you can work like that. Now, right now it's happening right in the European Union because the situation because no borders, right? Always the country's borders are open. You can see now if you want to work in Italy, the person who's you are in France, you can morning you can go, you can use like a bullet train, which go to France and Italy, and you can go to Italy in the morning and then evening you can come back to France. This is happening. There is no cross borders, no visa, so anyone can go freely anywhere they want. You can do a job anywhere you want. So people are free to live and work in any country they choose, right? But because of some problems are there, for example, if this allowed in some countries, like developing countries especially, people will definitely try to migrate to other developed countries, in the world. Like if it's something coming from the Asian countries, mainly they would like to go and settle in developed countries like Australia, UK, USA, or Switzerland or something like that. Because of this, the controlled immigration in the country, sometimes they are giving some barriers and rules to immigration. So some processing visa application and everything requirements are there because you need to control. You can see this situation called like a brain drain, right? So every country can see the best doctors, best engineers, best accountants, all that, like the best people in the world are working outside the countries, developed countries, because this the working conditions are good, salary scales are good because of this. But what happened to the local government? Their investment, they invest in our education, they invest in infrastructure. These situations are there to manage in organization. So it's another aspect of the globalization, the mobility of labor. And the third feature of globalization is there is a high level of interdependence between nations, which means that the event in one economy are likely to affect the other economies. For example, the financial crisis in USA 2008 has impacted many economies all over the world, including Sri Lanka, including India, including Maldives, everything, South Asia. So because integration is there, because the growing interdependence is there, the Sri Lankan garment factories are sending their textiles to USA, and the Sri Lankan some gem and jewelry, this like a tea exporters, cinnamon exporters, and everything. They are sending their majority of the export to the European market. So when there's a problem, the who has a problem with our customer, and customer deduct the orders, what happened? Then supplier they have to suffer. That's what happened. Integration process. If something happened to someone, it that impact that shock will be go to other countries as well. And fourth feature is the free flow of capital. That is, the capital can freely, right, flow freely between. I just say it is like a mobility of capital, because not only mobility of labor, the mobility of capital also really important feature of the globalization, which means you can buy a bank loan, take a bank loan from anywhere in the world, and you can utilize it, but it is not practical because of the exchange control mechanism in those countries. Example, like, there are some exchange control rules are there. We can't apply bank loan from foreign countries for individual, and we also can't deposit our money in a foreign bank, right? Because there are some rules and regulations are there to control, because exchange rate control, foreign reserves, foreign the currency, everything. There are restrictions are there put by the government in order to protect the economy, right? So banking system also really important. But if you have a common banking system like that, there are so many things, because then I think the world's better to use like one currency, right? Because now right now we have different currencies, right? USA you have US dollars, Australian dollars, Singapore dollars, right? Indian rupiah, Sri Lankan rupee, and then, right, different countries, different currencies we have. But you can see the currency exchange rate, how the difference of this thing. If you go different countries, you have to take different currencies. It's a little bit difficult. But look at the European Union. All that 27 countries, they're using one currency called euro. So look at the benefit of that. They don't have to actually reconvert the currency. There is no currency differences. That means economy is a one economy, right? One inflation, one economic growth rate, one GDP level. It's like an economic zone. Entire European nations actually coming like a one nation, like one currency, like one banking system. Look at the advantage, look at the opportunity there, right? But having different isolation of the countries always have some disadvantage in that perspective. Another, free flow of capital is one aspect of globalization, but it's difficult because of the banking systems are a little rigid to actually flex it, not amend to these things. And finally, you can see the other important feature of the globalization is the free exchange of technology and intellectual property across the borders. That means the example, they can see the organizations, you can see the protection of the organization intellectual property. They are like technology transfer from, because I can say HIC to LICs. High income countries to low income countries, you can see always when the multinational firms goes and establishing a developing country, let's say Philippines, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, they take their technology with them into that production location, and then they establish the production their technology, and they transfer that technology which Western countries use into that developing country. It's another thing, free exchange of the knowledge. This is actually because of the internet. It is actually really important that intellectual properties and everything, you can see We have like a patents.com. Just Google, you can find out every patents, their scientific thing can be. So free knowledge, everyone, access to knowledge because of this, right, across international borders. This means example that patents granted in the USA are recognized in other countries. This is not there, right? So before we go to the reasons for globalization, let's look at this explanation, right? Features of globalization, like small video clip, and we'll
potential benefits aren't hard to understand. By eliminating trade barriers in an honest manner, everyone could theoretically win. 1. Poor countries would receive a significant influx of capital as international companies take advantage of the lower wages, and in time, this could even lead to a gradual eradication of poverty. 2. Those who live in rich countries can take advantage of greater product variety, as well as better prices thanks to imports. 3. The world would move towards a more efficient allocation of capital, based on whatever it is each country can produce better than others. If a country cannot produce, let's say, clothing in a cost-effective manner, it can simply import clothes and focus on the products it's better at making. Unfortunately, things haven't exactly gone as planned for several reasons. 1. Most countries don't practice what they preach when it comes to being fair. For example, rich countries which encourage poorer countries to sell them resources, but discourage them from selling actual high value-added products. 2. Everyone wants to game the system by artificially weakening their currency to boost exports, subsidizing industries, and so on. 3. Whenever something's wrong with the economy, local politicians and citizens love blaming globalization. It sure beats looking in the mirror. The end result is that more and more people claim globalization doesn't work. However, is what we have today truly globalization or just one big masquerade?
Okay, so you can see this one also. So this globalization again, right?
Globalization. Globalization is the term used to describe the way countries are becoming more interconnected, both economically and culturally. Globalization is an international process driven by trade, investment, technology, and finance. This process has effects on the environment, on culture, on political systems, on economic development and prosperity, and on human physical well-being in societies around the world. Globalization is not new, though. For thousands of years, people, and later, corporations, have been buying from and selling to each other in lands at great distances. One such example is the thin Silk Road across Central Asia that connected China and Europe during the Middle Ages. But what exactly drives globalization? Over the past 20 years, there have been significant developments in both communications and transport technologies. The introduction of specialized bulk carriers and container ships has helped to reduce the cost of transport and greatly increase the volume of world trade. Recent developments in communications technology, especially the development of the internet and email, enable people anywhere on Earth to have access to and distribute vast amounts of information. The production and distribution of goods and services is increasingly dominated by very large companies known as transnational corporations, TNCs. The business links of TNCs create a more integrated world economy where decisions made in one country can affect people in other parts of the world. International trade has given countries access to goods and services they are unable to produce themselves or can obtain more cheaply from other places. Watch the next video to find out the impacts of globalization. Thank you for watching Advocate.
Right. Okay. I think you might have understand the mainly the reasons of globalization. You can see the technological development, the development in transportation, and the development of the intellectual properties and everything. There are some certain things and patent rights and everything. So these are the main reasons: mobility of labor, mobility of capital, and technology transfer. Everything. Right. You can see there are we heard TNC, transnational company. What's the difference between MNC and TNC? Right? Same thing, right? TNC, transnational, multinational, right? So they're also doing some same thing like a multinational company operating a headquarters in one country, and they have operated their production and manufacturing and selling assembly plants in all over the world. It should be noted that the process of globalization is not complete. It is because some restrictions still exist. For example, it may not always be possible to live and work in any country in the world. That's why I told you this situation, because such as Australia and USA, they restrict the number of immigrants entering the country. There are also some trade barriers that make it more difficult to sell goods in some countries. Right? This also take into account, because we can easily say this is globalization, this is the dream of globalization, but actually this is not practical because of some countries' rules and regulations are there, very tightened rules and regulation. If it's happened like that, then everyone will be all the poor countries, you see the third world countries, the people will who suffering a lot, like countries like Ethiopia, Somalia, all that people will try and go settle in the developed nations. Then we become more problems will created in those economies also to manage that population problem. So that's why economic globalization concept should be there, but in a controlled manner. Okay, so the globalization reason, look at this important reasons for globalization. There is a general agreement in the modern globalization beginning 1980s and has grown rapidly. There are a number of reasons for this trend. Number one, development in technology. Development in technology. So as I told you, it was really important that the development of the technology was created like a modern technology, especially I should say the internet facilities. You can see this, the facility that right we are using for the academic purpose, everything like a Google and the internet and the Facebook, social media, Zoom, all these brands actually created us actually like a more interconnections. Because of this, our potential has increased, right? Virtual school, virtual organization, working from home, everything was really happen as a result. I think the globalization right now we are linking. So we are in one place. So we are in one place, but we are from technology, we are integrated into one classroom. So development in technology has developed helped globalization to gather the pace. The modern computing allows the firms to transfer complex data instantly to any part of the world. It means that the more people can work at home or any other location that they choose. Right? The many people do not have to be office based to their jobs. You can right now you can see like this entire year because of the COVID-19. You can see people are stuck in their home. Normal, a lot of people actually they can't move because of the travel conditions are not good. Sometimes they have to operate everything. Officers also sometimes they give instructions work from home, right? Large numbers of school, billions of people, students, teachers actually face these challenges. Everyone has like a learning, everything they're taking place from their school. Not they can't go to school. We are everything we are done from our residence like that. So many people do not have to be office based to do their jobs. We realize this concept, and this make it easier to firms to have operations all over the world. The internet also allow consumers to gather information and buy goods online from firms located in different parts of the world. Secondly, you can see international transport network. Technology is number one. Second one, transportation. So you can see the development of the transportation. Also, there are like a flying methods, like a private jets, right? But the cost of these flights, the flying methods actually fallen due to the number of flights and destinations slowly increase. This means that the people can travel the business meetings more easily and goods can be transported more cheaply. You can see right now. But this transportation was reduced because of this COVID-19. Everything happened virtually. Business meeting happened online. Board meetings happen online. You can see the government cabinet meetings happen online. I think recently I think they have cabinet meetings online in Sri Lanka. You see, maybe in Parliament also one day they might be having online. So when people can't, no need to go to the one place and gather. So we can take every decisions online because of the internet. Like that. So that is there. So the transportation also, the requirement of transportation drop. You can see oil prices go down, and then because a lot of people are not using that much of transportation, they only for emergencies only they're using with transportation methods. And the third one, there has been a huge amount of deregulation. Deregulation will take place when there's a situation of the need of a privatization. Government want to allow private sector to operate in the economy. As a result of that, you can see the deregulation will give opportunities to private sectors, and then it allow more competition in many industries. Also, a lot of barriers to trade have been removed. An increasing number of economies are more open And then more and more countries have stopped protecting the domestic industries. You can see many countries have also simplified their monetary system and legal system to make international trading easier. So they actually deregulation is like that. They're giving up some opportunities, less taxes, sometimes tax holidays they are giving for the some companies, foreign companies. They are giving opportunities. They are encouraging the FDI, foreign direct investments in their countries. You can see there are index also. The locations, the countries where easily you can start a business like that. This is the deregulation has to be implemented, because if you have more regulation, it becomes very rigid, and this globalization process actually should be happen in smooth conditions. Because some person in one country willingly coming to another place to start another business with a positive attitude, with a good objective, with a good hope of earning some profit and giving something back to the country. But if the government put some restrictions in that particular way, if the government asking some kind of like a bribe or commission or kind of like a restriction, documentation works, processing, authorities, everything, it will actually, the investors will not like to come into those kind of countries because of the political problems. Therefore, the government should be give some opportunities to private sector come and okay, come and invest, take our land, utilize your production, take our labor, give our job opportunities for them, produce something and export. These opportunities must be given to those countries. That's called deregulation. And fourth one, you can see an increase in tourism also has helped globalization to thrive. You can see we can't actually forget about Sri Lanka, the number one tourism destination in the world in 2020, according to Lonely Planet magazine, right? Uh, it's a country like a pearl of the Indian Ocean, right? Surrounded by the India and the Maldives and all of the right Indian Ocean. We have various parts of the island. We can see it from the down south to the northern section, entire the coastal beaches and the ancient. If you go to the hill country, you can see the Nuareli and Kandy. You can see the different climate conditions are there. So marvelous. It's actually the pearl of the Indian Ocean, right? So that's why they named as the best country in the world to travel in 2020. But unfortunately, because of this COVID-19 and everything, the airport closed, and tourism sector were actually in a situation now around 1 month, 1 year right now. You can see the hotels were operating at a loss. Related industries also facing a loss. But I think this will be gonna change everything, because countries regaining again, recovering again. Uh, but we need to have actually mainly focus on the that's why, because some countries are there, not only Sri Lanka, Maldives, Indonesia, and a lot of countries in the world like that. They are mainly, sometimes main income is tourism. So tourism also is giving some kind of like a reason to globalization, because when they come into those countries, they want to have kind of a like a familiar businesses. For example, sometimes they would like to go for McDonald's, KFC, sometimes for dining. Sometimes they want to book some hotels like Ritz Carlton or Taj hotels or Hilton hotels. It's a worldwide available chain of hotels, because they know. So Ritz Carlton means something like a five-star experience. They know that, right? Sri Lanka also we are going to open another two hotels like that, Ritz Carlton hotels, right? One in Negombo and one in Mirissa, and like that. So not only that, different hotels are there. World class hotel, Shangri-La hotel chain, and then we have Marriott hotel chains, and so many international recognized hotels are there because of the tourism. Because tourists, the foreigners, they know those hotels very well. When they are booking the hotels, they know their hospitality. So as a result of that, we had to allow the foreign hotel corporations to come and establish in those countries to provide their service. Increasing tourism is also helping globalization to drive the consumer taste have changed as a result of the experience when traveling abroad. People are more willing to try goods and services produced in the other countries. For example, many people are happy to fly with a Middle Eastern airline, drive a car made in South Korea, eat at a Bangladeshi restaurant, and dress in clothes made in China. Different people, different tastes, but they like to have kind of like a local taste. And also you can see another feature, another reason for globalization, you can see many firms want to sell abroad, export oriented business. Perhaps because of the domestic markets have become saturated. Saturated example we I think talk about in the product life cycle also saturation point. Where everyone is like a too highly congested peak level. Everyone is there like a too much overcrowded market. Then people wanted to have option. Okay, we should go abroad. We should go outside the Sri Lanka and we should sell. So as a result of this, you can see the benefit of considerably having international markets and producing goods anywhere in the world where costs can be minimized. These things are the main reasons for the globalization concept, right? So mainly, the globalization to flourish, there should be have some kind of like a important commitment from the government, because government, without the government, because there's the one who gives the signatory power, the authority, the final the jurisdiction, the approval, permission should be given by the government to enter those foreign companies into these domestic markets. So what kind of a government help, what kind of a government reaction we expect? So in order to flourish the globalization, governments are committed to do it. For example, countries cannot trade if the government keeps the international borders closed. We can find out that if like a government close the international borders, airport close, then how tourism can come? How exports and everything going out of the country? Hmm? Therefore, it should be thoroughly understand that the government should keep their borders open. Sometimes they want, they can close, but that is there. But most of the time, they should open their borders to other countries, open economic policies. And international trade will be very limited if government put up trade barriers. Trade barriers are there. You can see that we find out that the former president of the USA, the Donald Trump, right? He actually with the dealing with the USA and China, he has put kind of a US-China trade barriers. So even China also same time they put the barriers again USA because as a right, tit for tat. So as a result of that kind of economy, as a result, local people, businessmen, they suffered a lot, right? These kind of situations must be avoided by the government, these economic barriers, because that's why WTO is the World Trade Organization in order to smoothen this process. And third one, the people cannot be free to live and work in overseas countries unless borders have kept open. Just thing, as I told you, European Union they can do it. People who work in Italy can go in the evening to their home in France in the bullet train. Rapid transportation, speed transportation. You can in between two countries you can work because the country's borders are open. But long time ago it's not like that because everyone who passed the border had to go to take a border pass, boarding pass, and then some stamp or something should be there in your passport. The situation always control how many new immigrants came, how many people migrate to other countries. They have that data. But right now we don't need that. That's why this, in order to flourish the mobility of labor, the government should open their economic borders to other countries. And finally, a firm cannot develop their business overseas if planning permission is denied. If a planning permission is important, sometimes government, a corrupted government, sometimes they're asking for this planning permission, sometimes bribes and everything. So that's why some globalization issues are there. The globalization cannot be flourish if this planning permission everything denied by the government. All right. So government can aid the globalization by relaxing the laws and deregulating that they prevent, restrict, or complicate the trade business activities. Okay. In order to wrap up the chapter, we have some other topics we can do in our second session. In order to wrap up the today's chapter, so we talk about the globalization, the concept of globalization, and we talk about that's a growing integration of the world economies, and then we talk about the globalization is kind of a integration of the world economies in different ways. There are some certain features of globalization we talk about. Mainly, we talk about the globalization is there should be mobility of like a free trade should be there, and then mobility of labor should be there, and third one we talk about the mobility of capital must be there, right? High level of interdependency should be there between nations. Capital trade flow of capital between nations should be there. must be able to take a bank loan from USA and invest in Sri Lanka like that. They should have some kind of policy, but monetary system sometimes not allowing it. And there is a free exchange of technology and intellectual property should be there with the intellectual property, for example, like patent rights and royalties and everything, copyright issues and everything. Right. And talk about the reasons for globalization, development of technology, in the development of the transportation network, uh, deregulation by the government, increasing the tourism, and uh, selling abroad, export-oriented business organization because the local market become saturated. And finally, talk about the in order to flourish the globalization concept, government also should do some kind of a thing to restrictions and everything should be deregulated because government should that mean they should open the economic borders in order to enter other countries into the business and international borders will be international trade will be unlimited. Then eliminate government put up trade barriers. That means government should lift the trade barriers. And third one, they should open up the borders and everything kept open to people to go and go work and live in any country they want. And fourth one, finally talk about firms actually to in order to enter the country, the government should give their planning permissions and everything on time without delay. That means a lot of bureaucracies are happening in those countries because they are not allowing a foreign country, a foreign company to come and operate. Some political parties, opposition party, they are fighting and they are want to shut down those things. They want those foreign proposals. They want to actually uh, cancel it out. So that's our today's lesson. We talk about the first half of the globalization, about the government and the main features and the what are the impacts of the globalization and everything, right? Okay, in my next session we'll move on to the what are the main advantages and disadvantages of globalization for the business firms. Okay, I think today you understand the main concept of the globalization. I think you can go and watch this video again and again in my channel and if you have anything you can ask that in the comment section, so everyone welcome. So then thank you very much for everyone. See you in my next video. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir. Bye.